Hello and welcome to Newton Air, in a special program where we'll talk about communication and how essential a tool it is. Your hosts are Laura, Amelia, María Salvador, María Vega, Rodrigo, Justo, and myself, Pablo Alarcón.
Thanks for listening on behalf of all Year 9 Alpha and Epsilon, who researched and organized the information, as well as those who went out to record the interviews.
We also have Celia and Emma as our sound engineers and Candela behind the camera. Let's begin.
I do think that it's necessary for your daily life, as you need to communicate with other people to become more social.
I use communication to talk with my friends and by social media or in person.
I can develop my communication skills in school by talking with my friends or even asking questions in class.
For me, communication is basically the transaction of information.
Like when you have to do a group project with your friend.
The exact definition of communication would be to exchange information by either speaking, writing, or using other mediums. Nowadays, we can communicate with anything.
From songs to memes to body language, expressing emotions can also be a source of communication.
You can either receive or give information. We communicate every day to express thoughts, feelings, or information.
The main elements of communication are:
The sender is the person who wants to convey a message with the purpose of passing information and ideas to others.
The message is the topic of the communication.
Encoding involves converting a subject matter that is theoretical and intangible, for example, feelings or ideas, into symbols such as words, action, pictures.
The communication channel is the means or method by which the message is sent.
The receiver is the person who receives the message or for whom the message is meant for.
In school, we've studied communication in many of our subjects, such as Spanish, English, or communication and media. But we have also discovered that we use the communication in visual arts or music.
In school, we prepare and consistently develop our communication skills in order to understand and decode the world around us effectively and to make our mark and voice our ideas.
Die beste Übungen, die Sie tun können, sind Liegestütze und Starksprünge. Wir haben Ihnen geholfen.
Ja he tallat les galetes i les he posat en una safata del forn amb paper vegetal.
Bienvenidos a Newton Air. Hoy estamos en un nuevo podcast sobre el tema del viaje tripulado a Marte.
We communicate in many ways using different codes. Verbal communication. It can be face-to-face, over the telephone, via Skype or Zoom, etc. When occurring face-to-face, while the words are important, they cannot be separated from non-verbal communication.
Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication includes facial expressions, posture, eye contact, hand movements, touch, letters. We use this in drama, for instance, though it is said that 70 to 90% of communication is non-verbal.
visual communication. Televisions are running 24/7. Facebook is visual with memes, videos, images, etc. Instagram is an image-only platform, and advertisers use imagery to sell products and ideas. Think about from a personal perspective. The images we post on social media are meant to convey meaning. An example of visual communication could be images such as paintings, also photography and even videos.
Why do we communicate?
Communication is something we can't separate from our human condition.
The philosopher Peter Singer states, "Human beings are social animals. We were social before we were human."
From our families, classmates, jobs, any society model, regardless of how big or small, depends heavily on communication.
Communication is, therefore, a tool for development and survival.
We need to communicate for various reasons like share information, comment, ask questions, express wants and needs.
Communication has come a long way. First, early humans during the Stone Age started to communicate and express their thoughts and feelings by signs or gestures. They were able to send signals via fire, drums, and whistles. Later on, the humankind started to communicate via cave paintings, a type of parietal art found on the walls and ceilings of caves. Another form of early communication was during the era of camel messengers. People used to give their message to a person who delivered it while riding in a camel. Other forms of communication were messenger pigeons. They were first used in 776 BC. After the messenger pigeons came the first postcard service. The first commercially produced card was created in 1861 by John Charlton of Philadelphia. With the help of Thomas A. Watson, a Boston machine shop employee, Alexander Graham Bell, developed the first prototype of the electric telephone in 1867. After the first telephone, communication evolved even further with the invention of the Internet and the World Wide Web, which started being used in 1989. Global information medium, the World Wide Web, or simply the web, was invented by Tim Berners-Lee.
We must take into account, however, that when we communicate, we can find different obstacles. These can include physical noise or even fixed mindsets, social anxiety. For instance, if we are not open-minded and we have a fixed mindset, we may resist sharing perspectives and learning.
This can also happen with social pressure. When we have some kinds of social pressure, we may be forced into certain beliefs which can also hinder communication.
A good way of dealing with these obstacles have to do with the environment, adopting an open mind. The skills of active listening, clarification, and reflection may help, but the skill communication also needs to be aware of the barriers to effective communication.
So what's the recipe for great communication? If we were going to think about our communication as a meal, what are the ingredients that we need to have present in the meal? How do we put together a great meal? Well, let's think about it this way. There are really 5 ingredients that have to be present all the time for great communication to be possible. All right, the first ingredient is clarity. How do you make your point clearly? It's got to be clear. The second ingredient is brevity. How do you get to the point quickly? How do you not waste people's time? The third ingredient is context. How do you help people see how your point or how your message fits in for them? How does it make sense for them? The fourth ingredient is impact. How do you make it stand out? How do you make it memorable? And the fifth ingredient is value, which is fairly self-explanatory. How do you make your message valuable for the people who are consuming it? 5 ingredients that will go into every communication meal: clarity, brevity, context, impact, and value. Okay, great. So we've got our ingredients. Now the next question is, how much of each ingredient do we need? And just like cooking a great meal, that's going to depend. Different meals are going to need different ingredients. They're going to need the ingredients in different proportions. And different audiences are going to have different palates. They're going to want different things out of their meal. So the really savvy communicator is going to look at their row of ingredients and is going to be able to determine, based on the audience that they're preparing their message for, what ingredients need to be dominant. So how do you figure it out? Well, when do we need clarity to be an important ingredient? Well, when there's a lot of complexity around the situation or around the issue, you need to make sure that your message includes plenty of clarity so people understand what this is really about. When do we need a bit of brevity? Well, when time is short, when we think attention spans are short, when your audience is going to be very, very senior, you want to make sure you have enough of the brevity ingredient. How about context? Well, maybe when there's unfamiliarity with the topic, or maybe when you're communicating with people that have a lot on their mind, or are walking in to listen to you, having just come from something very, very confusing. You probably want to make sure you use plenty of the ingredient context. How about impact? When do we need to have a lot of impact in our messaging? Well, when there's a lot of noise, when we really need to work hard to make it memorable, right? When we really want it to stand out, and we think that's going to be hard to achieve. We got to make sure we add plenty of impact. And then the fifth and final is value. And I think when there's skepticism, when there's choice, when there's competition, when a decision has to be made, and there are other choices that could be made, we have to work hard to make sure that there's plenty of value in the meal that we're creating. All 5 of these ingredients are going to be present in every meal that you create, in every communication that you put together. You always want to make sure that you have some clarity and some brevity and some context and some impact and some value. But depending upon who you're cooking for, depending on who you're preparing for, you're going to make choices of which of those ingredients needs to be most dominant. Think about your communication like you're preparing a meal for an audience and you want to impress them, you want them to have a great experience. And different audiences have different palates, which means you have to adjust the ratios of the ingredients depending upon the situation.
Media and technology have come in very handy lately. We should celebrate how, in one of the most crucial times in history, after COVID and throughout the lockdown, we had the need to communicate.
Sharing private conversation and carrying out actions shared on social media managed to keep us sane.
Thank God for Instagram, TikTok, Discord, YouTube, and Google Meet.
Thank you very much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.